On the strength of their debut album, I Get Hot, and its breakout single, I'm Still, Levert secured a contract with Atlantic Records and set out on their first national tour.
Doing shows with other entertainers, they would smoke them. And when I say smoke them, I mean smoke them. They practice and they practice and they practice, man. And that's what made them good. All three of these guys.
Everyone say thanks,
Sean was the party guy. He was the party guy on stage and he could sing good. Mark was the music guy. Gerald had his own style, his own thing. They was the OJs of their time.
The OJs were like the best R&B group of their time, so to have their offsprings meant a lot to us. It was really an exciting time.
How you like me now?
Gerald and Mark wrote most of the songs for their Atlantic Records debut, Bloodline, and their lead single, entitled Pop, 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 Pop Goes My Mind, went straight to the top of the R&B charts.
After that, it was first #1, and we was off to the races. We were young. Sean was 16, Mark was 20, Gerald was 18.
I remember when you said I was the only one that you would give your love to.
Our vocals were mature to be young, and that was a lot because of Gerald's voice. But you know, the things we wrote about and sang about were more mature.
Baby, please, have pity on me, baby, yeah. Goes my mind.
You couldn't compare them to nobody else but the OJs.
But they weren't doing our music. Our sound was more up to date.
Goes my mind. Goes my mind.
Pop, pop. Everything else is history.
Gerald and Mark flew to LA in 1986 to put together their follow-up album. And once more, the pair wrote and produced most of the songs. But Atlantic executive Sylvia Rohn wanted to add a new element to the mix.
I was trying to get another sound for the guys. We wanted to spread their demographic. And to do that, we really needed something that was up-tempo and that could cross over to pop.
The call came in from Sylvia Rohn saying, you know, I have these kids that I'd like for you to check out, I'd like for you to produce.
Reggie Calloway had a song he had partially written called Casanova.
When I met the guys, I said, wow, okay. They need something fresh. They need something melodic.
It started off as a country song, and then it started to, you know, develop it into this R&B song, and then it really took a whole nother shape.
I ain't much on Casanova. Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. Can't you see how much I really love you? Gonna sing it to you time and time again.
Casanova became Levert's second #1 R&B hit, then stunned everyone by rising to #5 on the pop charts.
Casanova was a huge hit. It was Grammy nominated.
They hooked up with the Callaways and got the big record Casanova, and after that it was on.
Casanova, I tell you what to say. Casanova.
Casanova opened the door for them to get more of their music heard. They went on with The Big Throwdown, Just Coolin'.
Baby, I'm Ready. We had ABC 1, 2, 3, All Seasons.
It went on from there. The hits kept coming.
A couple of soundtracks, New Jack City, Coming to America soundtrack, that went #1.
Once everybody understood that Gerald was also a writer and started writing these fantastic songs, the sky was the limit.
I felt like there would always be the group. Like, there would nothing come between that. So eventually, I guess things did come between that.
By the late 1980s, Levert was a band that could do no wrong. They scored 7 top 10 singles in a row, 3 of which went to #1. In demand now as writer-producers, Gerald Levert and Mark Gordon formed their own production company, producing songs for acts like Barry White, Men at Large, and the Rude Boys.
They had produced a song on Anita Baker, Stephanie Mills, James Ingram. We actually built a recording studio and a rehearsal hall where they would actually go and prepare their shows. So things were going pretty good.
In 1988, Gerald Levert stepped away from the group that bore his family name to release a duet with Mickey Howard. That's What Love Is.
I knew their voices were going to be magic together, and they were. They were great together.
Some of that chemistry may have been due to Gerald and Mickey's on-again, off-again romantic relationship, which had begun years before.
Gerald was the kindest, warmest, funniest person. I thought he was a ball. He was so cute. And he's a Jehovah's Witness, because I was practicing Jehovah's Witness, and it was just great.
That's What Love Is became a top 5 R&B ballad, and the first of several musical collaborations between Gerald and Mickey. But their offstage romance never really got back on track.
Everyone got, like, you shouldn't marry this girl. She's got 2 children. I had 2 children, And then he would say, I don't want a ready-made family, just like that. So for years, we went in and out of relationship.
He couldn't find a woman quite like his mom. She's a stay-at-home mom, cook, take care of the house, the whole 9 yards, go to church, and he couldn't find no woman that could stand up to that, and he kept putting them all up there.
You should be a traditional woman, Jehovah's Witness like my mom, versus I'm a woman of the world, boo-boo, like that. It was sort of like that, even though I wasn't. I just thought I was.
But it's questionable whether Gerald had the time or inclination to look for the right woman.
Lovely ladies by the pool. Let's take a look at this pool side. Oh, yeah, this was happening.
You ain't gonna lie, he had a lot. He had a lot of nice women,
Watch this. See how nice I am to my friends? She's gonna give me food, though. Did you like that? That was good. What are you laughing at?
Gerald would ultimately father 3 children by 3 different women.
Me and my brother are 3 days apart. Let's put it that way. He did his thing.
Just to see women fawning over him, and I would just be like, yuck, gross.
When I went to one of his concerts, this woman threw her panties on stage, and I was just like, this is real. And he was humping the floor and the stairs.
Gerald used to crawl up these steps in a real sexy way, just gyrating on these steps.
He'll take one teddy bear and like put all his sweat all over it, which is so disgusting. And the women would go crazy. They would want that teddy bear. I've seen women fight over teddy bears.
Eddie said, my son's so damn nasty.
The turn of the 90s decade found Gerald doing it his way professionally as well.
Gerald was really the creative mind behind the group. He wanted to take a different road and test other kinds of ideas that he couldn't do within the context of the group.
You knew it was only a matter of time before he tried to do something solo.
It's good to see you, glad to be in your
Gerald released his first solo album, Private Line, in 1991.
And in my background sing, in the background sing. Can't get in my private line. She be calling me all the time, but you were going up and crying. But now I gotta give you my son's line, baby. And you can call me anytime.
Both the single and the album took the #1 R&B slot.
I thought Gerald was extremely talented and had more to offer than being in a group. I never saw him as a group member.
But for Levert, the group, Gerald's solo success also spelled the beginning of the end.
Once that whole thing separated, it was real hard to bring it back together, man.
Remember that Levert has a history and an audience.
Mark and Sean probably should have recruited someone else.
Well, forget Gerald. Go get somebody who can really sing to take Gerald's place and go on with it.
Levert probably could have succeeded and moved forward.
His brother says, well, if I'm not doing it with Gerald, I'm not doing it at all.
You know, it was the group or it was nothing for me. So
Levert managed to get through 1993's For Real Though album, their fourth release to go gold, but the shared group dynamic was missing. Afterward, Mark split for California, where he wrote and produced for other acts. He and Gerald remain out of touch for the next 4 years.
this was my family. I looked at them and knew them better than my own brothers, you know, and I didn't think for a second that this would come between us being that.
They would briefly reunite in 1997 at Sean's insistence for a final album, but the magic was gone.
They got back together for a minute for whole scenario, and it was like they tried to do a tour, and Gerald and Mark, you know, just bumped heads because it was like that bad blood was there.
Separating from the partners he'd had since childhood, Gerald Levert had done his dad one step better by transitioning to a solo artist. But that came with a cost.
When you are the financial anchor of your entire family and, you know, it's all based on this music thing, that's a tough place to be in. Just there's never any rest from it.